Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo and I teach creative people how to sell their art online. And today's niche design video or niche idea video is going to be a bit different than the other niche design tutorials that I've had here on this channel. I have had so many niche design tutorials on this channel and I love doing them. I love taking a niche, breaking it down into sub-niches, explaining what this niche is all about, who might like it, and then just, diving into designing things for this niche. But instead today, with the recipe niche, as you can obviously see by the name of this video, I would like to do something a little bit different. So this channel has grown quite a bit. We've done quite a lot of, Canva tutorials on how to design a t-shirt, pretty much on any topic. We've had some Procreate tutorials, more coming up. And I know that a lot of you guys have been using either Creative Fabrica to flat out outsource some of your stuff. I know people designing with things like PowerPoint or Photoshop or Procreate, and you pretty much have your own design styles and design ideas. So what I want to do today is not to focus on the design, but to focus on the niche and its products. And for that to be made a little bit more clear, all I have to do is, just make myself smaller so I can start sharing my screen with you guys and explain a little bit more about this niche and this idea. So what you're seeing here is Liz Kohler Brown, which is a teacher on Skillshare. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but one of my favorite things to do several times a week is to start my day with coffee, cigarette, and a Skillshare class. And I feel like I'm always going to Liz Kohler Brown because she has really amazing Procreate tutorials. And one of the days that I went in and searched throughout her tutorials, I saw this tutorial about recipe illustrations on your iPad in Procreate. And that kind of got me thinking, I'm flat out serious, like I watched like maybe 3 minutes of that video before I remembered this huge trend that was in Israel when I grew up. That was pretty much people printing recipes on anything, like recipes on the outside of mugs and bowls, or even recipe like inside a bowl. And it took me a while to search for it. Apparently when you search for stuff in Hebrew, people don't really tag their photos as much as you'd expect. But I do remember loving this. And for those of you who don't read Hebrew, this says mushroom and tofu meatballs with palak sauce. And there is literally the recipe on a bowl. And there was this huge trend. I think it was for baking containers to bake a pie with the ingredients of a pie or how to make a pie. And I also remember seeing stuff like this on mugs, especially with the whole cake in the mug in the microwave kind of thing, which is what this mug is about. And honestly, I can't believe I didn't bring this up sooner because a few years back, I've had an Etsy store called Dainty Mugs selling, mugs. And I did do a lot of mugs containing recipes, whether they were actual serious recipes on how to make like a special type of coffee with maple syrup and stuff like that, or just, funny recipes of, 1 cup of coffee, 1 cup of sugar, 1 shot of vodka, and stuff like that. So that was really something that I thought was funny. And I've also seen it being an actual gift. And that got me thinking, you know what? Let's check out what's going on in the print-on-demand world with this recipe niche all over. Everything that has to do with recipes, including some of the designs of mine that I incorporated throughout the pages you're going to see now. Now, the first place we're going to start with is Comprado. A lot of you guys have been recommending them. And seriously, when I typed in like print-on-demand plates, they were pretty much the ones coming up first. So printing plates coming off at a very expensive price, singles and sets, and they're available. Mostly like people are using them here to decorate the walls. But I also think that these could be really, really cute with recipes, especially if you want to sell like, my old grandma recipe and stuff like that. Contrado also has custom bowls that you can design and maybe put in like a recipe for a summer salad. Basically, look at this. It's kind of cool. Just put a recipe on a salad on it. But obviously, Contrado is not the only platform that has any kind of print-on-demand relating to the recipe niche. We also have Printify with an enamel bowl that you can print on the outside of it. So for example, this can be printed on with an easy recipe to cook, I don't know, rice and meatballs, or something like a salad dressing that is made from several ingredients and can be printed wrapping over the enamel bowl of Printify. Printify also has glass cutting boards, which, what's better for recipes than a cutting board, especially if it's a recipe for something that involves a lot of cutting. It could also be sort of a recipe how-to by explaining, for example, what is the julienne cut, or different types of ways to slice different types of vegetables and fruits. And it can also have not a recipe, but the explanation of measurements in baking. I do know that a lot of people really like those because it does combine two things that can be answered with print on demand, or two things that basically people go online to find, which is something useful, but also something attractive that looks good. Moving on, I did a bit of research on Etsy. I just literally typed in recipe bowl, and there are so many unique stuff here. There are recipe bowls here that are customized to be with the handwriting of a recipe. And that was a huge niche on Etsy, as that is connecting us to the memorial and remembering people's niche, because a lot of Etsy sellers, what they do is that they have buyers send them a recipe, I don't know, written by someone's late wife, someone's late mother, late grandma, and they print out that recipe with that handwriting on the actual bowl or product. So it's kind of cool. You also have handwritten illustrated family recipe. So when you have like a recipe that someone wrote in the family and you want to digitize it and make it look a bit more attractive and turning into art. So that's also kind of a cool idea to be personalized. We also have here the mushrooms and tomato soup, which obviously I couldn't find these bowls on print on demand, but this is also something that you could put in on a bowl of any kind, because that is pretty cool. And there are a lot more things throughout Etsy with recipes, especially on Etsy, because, Etsy doesn't have their own products. And some people have products that they bring in from the outside, or just, go all at it with different types of print on demand. So I also went into RedBubble, because we are talking a bit more of traditional print on demand, and I found recipe mugs. So the recipe mugs that I found here are not all that attractive. I mean, this is kind of a cool thing. Cup of tea recipe, 1 tea bag, 8 times water, 1 time container, 2 minutes steeping time, and then total raw for like it looks kind of nice, but not really my cup of tea, which is kind of funny since it's literally a cup of tea. We also have here chocolate mug cake. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere with chocolate mug cake of 2 tablespoons of self-raising flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, cocoa powder, milk, and olive oil. I know that recipe very differently. But even if I'm looking at Redbubble, there are not a lot of mugs with actual recipes on them that appear on recipe mugs. That makes me think that this would be a really awesome niche to get into. Just don't do what some people do here and use Nutella on a mug, because that's like a really big copyright infringement. Moving on to Zazzle, I found these personalized bowl mugs that are pretty adorable and could definitely hold recipes on them. That's pretty unique. They also have plates, like flat plates, even if they're disposable plates, and that could also be an awesome idea for a product. I also saw that they actually have sort of the soup mug, which could be a really good idea if you want to have any kind of recipe for soups, because it's kind of a more unique product. It's also a fun product to market, especially if you order it yourself and you can take real photos of the product with the actual recipe being made. I also found a serving tray here. Now, the serving tray from Zazzle and the cutting board from Printify can also be found on other print-on-demand providers or marketplaces such as Society6. So there is a lot of potential for this, and we will reach Society6 soon. For now, we're still on Zazzle, and I found here recipe books. And this kind of started blowing my mind as I'm exploring Zazzle more and more. As you guys know, we've had the first 2 parts of the Zazzle series. One was about, what is Zazzle? Why would I want to sell on this platform? The second was all about traffic and comparing it to others. And the third part, which is coming up on Thursday, is going to be all about setting up your shop and uploading products with Saturday for customized products on Zazzle. And we'll be touching more on this specific topic when we get to that. But for now, I just want you to have a look about these recipe books. So basically, these recipe books that are completely customizable, as you can see here, are with actual recipe pages inside. And the way to customize these is actually simpler than you think. All you have to do is go and find the spiral notebook that is 8.5 inch by 11 inch, and you'll find that they have 10 different types of inserts. That's insane, including a recipe insert, which is pretty dope. Now, I thought it was dope. I wanted to show you an example of how cool it could be. So I went into Creative Fabrica and I was searching for cooking animals that are under the print on demand license and downloaded this cool set of cooking pandas. If you really like this specific set of cooking pandas, I will leave a link to that one down below. And if you don't have a Creative Fabrica membership just yet, then you should know that Creative Fabrica is an all-over membership for this huge website, database of hundreds of thousands of graphics and fonts, over 4 million files. A lot of them are for commercial purposes with print on demand. The overall license for Creative Fabrica is $29 a month, but viewers of this channel get 2 discounts. One, a lifetime discount of 35% on their platform, making it a lot more affordable than ever, and 2, trying out your first month for just $1. So go ahead and check out this specific cooking panda or Creative Fabrica in general for your print on demand needs. I took this panda and it came actually with a full set, as you can see on the left side here. There was a full set. There was a background paper like this one. There were all of these stars and all of these baked goodies and cookies and all of these pandas here. And what I did, I actually used the same one. I just changed the colors through edit image effects on Canva. And I wrote here, let's bake, making this design on 8.5 by 11 inches. I also designed the back and wrote baking recipes by and left this area blank to be customized directly on Zazzle. So if anyone goes to Zazzle and will find this specific notebook, this specific recipe intended notebook, they can actually go to the back of the cover and type in their own name where it says baking recipes by. And this is how it looks on Zazzle. I placed the front in here, and on the back, there is a name here, Emily, a piece of text that, as you can see here, is a template object. So people can customize it themselves. They can change it, and it looks kind of cool. Now, again, this is a quick recap. I'm not saying this is a Zazzle tutorial. We do have Zazzle tutorials coming up this week. I just thought that this would be an excellent way to show you guys something that you can do on Zazzle. Now, if I'm taking the same principle as having an insert for recipe pages and having a cute little cover, even if it's not customizable, the first thing that comes up to my mind would be Amazon KDP. So let's go on to Amazon, where we can find Made with Love blank recipe book journal to write in. We have 350 ratings for this book, and if we look inside, other than this really, really cool cover, you see here from the kitchen of, and then we have a recipe title and page. So we basically have 4 pages to index this entire notebook, and then starting with our recipes, with every left side of the page saying recipe title with ingredients and substitutes or notes, and the right side of the notebook featuring directions and other notes or nutritious facts. So that is kind of a cool book to design. It's pretty cool. Another cool book that people design within the recipe niche for Amazon KDP is something a bit more complex in terms of the colors. As we've seen with the first one, the inserts were completely black and white, but this one, which is the Family Cookbook Recipe Journal, is a bit more colorful on the inside. This book belongs to, and then Family Cookbook Recipe Journal, and how to use this recipe book, which is kind of an adorable idea. Here we have sections for people to put in. So basically the sections that they place their recipes in. So if that is something for breakfast, if that is something vegan, if they want to divide it by sections based on who from the family wrote that recipe. So that is a bit of a section index. You also have a section, how a page of a section looks like, and an index page for the entire notebook, with recipe pages being kind of cool, looking really, really, really adorable. And You also have here the measurement conversions, which is pretty dope. You know, if you want to transfer from a tablespoon to ounces to milliliters, this is really, really cool. And a little bit more information on the back. It is a lot of work, but I can definitely see why this book was sold so many times on paperback or on hardcover. And if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, I'm really cool with the Zazzle idea of designing a recipe book from the outside, but I don't know what to do with the inside, don't worry, because Creative Fabrica has KDP inserts, including recipe inserts for Amazon KDP. Some of them come with bleed or without, but they do look cool, especially this kit that is a specific kit for just recipe books with so many different styles and so many graphics to combine. And I have been talking about KDP more in this video than I ever have, and that's because I'm starting KDP. There will be a full video on that, don't worry. If anyone here is on KDP, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to see if people here are on KDP or if it's interesting for you guys to see, you know, how I'm starting my journey with KDP, because obviously, you know, it's going to be my first time ever trying to upload a book, so it's going to be kind of embarrassing. I'm definitely not an authoritative figure on KDP. Moving on again with Zazzle. Zazzle also has cards. So I typed in recipe cards, which are pretty much just, you know, cards that people can do, and you can customize them or the client can customize them. And a lot of people do order recipe cards. So we do have here really, really cool recipe cards. And I just want to check in one of these recipe cards with you guys. So this recipe card costs $1.27, and usually Zazzle sellers price themselves between 5 and 15%. That makes it what, 12 cents, 15 cents, which will be nothing. But if someone wants to purchase this to have them in their kitchen, to place them in their recipe box, something that we used to do like an index box with recipes, they're not going to buy one. What they're going to do is that they're going to go and they're going to buy 30 or 50 or even 100 just to save up on the price. And in that case, your percentage goes a lot higher because people are using this product to buy it in bulk. And I was thinking about this recipe card, and it is nice that it has just a simple paper sheet that you can design on. And that's what I found. Instead of going with a card, I chose the paper sheet that comes available in, you know, 8.5 by 11 inches, 5.5 by 8.5, or 4.5 by 5.6. And you can fully design something like this to be on a US letter size 8.5 and 11 inches. But I kind of like the idea of 4.5 by 5.6. So I designed something like this. It's pretty much a place for someone to write the name of the recipe, ingredients, instructions, and notes, and uploading it to Zazzle was pretty quick with the preview of this looking like this, and the back is just a simple color. You could have also had the back designed separately, which is really cool because you can design most of the products on Zazzle from both sides. And then it got me to Society6, mostly for two reasons. One, I really like this platform, and two, this was actually a platform that Liz Kohler Brown, the Skillshare teacher that I talked about, mentioned in her videos. So I typed in a recipe, and as you can see here, we have here a lot of recipes, and most of them are divided into two specific niches. We have the alcohol niche, like how to make a martini or how to make classic cocktails, and we also have here different types of coffees. And these are things that people are really interested in getting, whether it's for their place of business or for home or for the kitchen, especially when they are very aesthetically pleasing and look really, really good. I mean, I really kind of like these. And you have here, I mean, the gin cocktail, different cocktails with gin on a cutting board. It is kind of cool because, again, as I said, Society6 has cutting boards. And recipes really do look good on wall art. But they don't just look good on wall art. And I was trying to think to myself, if I want to dive fully into this niche, if I'm thinking about a cocktail, if I want to make something for one cocktail, not for all of the cocktails. For example, I don't think that I would want to make it as a full wall art. Like the full wall art would be nice for several cocktails, but What if there would be like a magnet that people can put on their fridge where, they look all the time when they're hungry or when they want to make something? And then I found that Zazzle has magnetic cards, and that's kind of adorable. So they do have a 1:1 ratio card that I really wanted to go with because I was thinking to design this originally for Society6 and making it in even dimensions. And this is what I came up with. It's a mojito that contains white rum, lime juice, sugar, soda water, and mint leaves, which, by the way, is my favorite cocktail ever. And it does look kind of adorable on a magnet card. And I do have to say at this point, first of all, like I made this one entirely using Canva. So this is a 5,000 by 5,000 pixel file. This one is literally going here and typing mojito. Obviously, you can design this by yourself. I could have even done a recipe for mojito strawberries, which is also something that I used to do way back in my past when I used to be a bartender. And just with one of my latest favorite fonts, more sugar thin, wrote down white rum, lime juice, sugar, soda water, and mint leaves, and adjusted the background color to be sort of in between the dark and the bright of the colors of the actual mojito graphics. So it's a pretty easy design to make, and it will also really look good on Society6. And if you guys want to make these for cutting boards, just remember the fact that over here somewhere is going to be the hole of the cutting board, so kind of design it around it, because if I wanted to adjust this for a cutting board for Society6, I would have probably put the mojito here and did something like this to have a room for the whole of the cutting board. But I really do like the result. I think it's kind of a cool idea. And I do know that I'm showing Zazzle a lot in this tutorial. I have a good reason. I'll let you guys know at the end. But before we go to the end, I do want to get back to my initial idea, my childhood memory, the 3 ingredients microwave cake that I designed. 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and 1/4 cup of sugar powder with 50 to 60 seconds in the microwave with a skewed bear from Canva and Enjoy, and already on my Teepublic store on a mug. It does look really adorable on a mug, I do have to say. And I don't know if it will look anything, this is not really optimized for t-shirts or anything like that, but stickers, wall art, magnets are definitely a win for any kind of recipe. Maybe even pins. No, for pin, I think it will be really hard to read. Maybe a pillow. That will definitely show the guests in your house what you're into. In any case, let me just make myself bigger again so we can finalize this weird video. First of all, if you did like this weird random burst of ideas video, feel free to hit the like button down below, because every time you do, it really does help my channel. And subscribe to my channel if you are not yet subscribed. Second, I have been showing Zazzle a lot in this video, and one of the reasons why I was showing it is not because I think that Zazzle is like, oh my god, recipe niche, Zazzle. It's not because of that at all, but because a lot of times when I'm bringing in a new niche idea, a new topic, a new suggestion, a lot of people tell me, this niche is amazing and I want to do something for it, but it goes completely against everything I have in my store and I don't know what to do. Like I have this burst of ideas and I don't want to, clash it with what I already have going for me in my Society6, in my RedBubble, in my Teepublic, wherever. And the fact is that you can open multiple stores with Zazzle. It was one of their biggest pros. We'll be talking more about this on Thursday. But the fact is you can just open more and more stores. So if at any point, not with just this niche idea, you get this burst of creativity in a style you don't usually do, for products you don't usually do, you can always put it in the shop separate on Zazzle and then figure out if that is something that you want to do, don't want to do, want to market, don't want to market. They have so many products and this could be brilliant. Obviously, this recipe niche has so many different ideas to it, from having actual people like with recipe books or recipe journals, whether you're leaving them blank or you're actually filling in recipes that you know how to make, especially if they are sorted by a specific diet type, like something for keto diet, for paleo, for vegans, for people with celiac, like replacements kind of thing. And I do feel like there is so much within this niche, especially when so many people do genuinely like having recipes of cocktails or funny recipes presented as wall art or recipes on mugs or recipes on plates. You can also do a few funny recipes on aprons. I actually thought about it right before I opened this camera. So it's sort of like how to make a delicious dinner. Take this apron, put it on mom, leave the kitchen, come back after 2 hours. That is a recipe that could be really funny on aprons. And I do think that this niche has a lot of potential for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because there is such a huge variety of existing clip art and graphics revolving around cooking and baking and even the ingredients that it seems like no one is actually using it. There is just so much potential with something like recipe niches, whether you're going to be doing recipe cards, whether you're actually going to have your own recipe, and even for printables, to have printable recipe cards for someone to print at home, or if you're going to sell books with it, with Amazon KDP, with Lulu, with Blurb, if you're going to do the recipe thing from Zazzle, or if you're going to design things like that for bowls and even pet bowls with a recipe of my dog's favorite snacks or something like that. I don't really have a point to finish this video with. I do have a lot of links at the bottom of the video for you guys to see and a lot more videos coming up this week. So just to make sure that you guys know, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow with Printful Bags Review, 3 different types of bags from Printful that I ordered and received on the 25th, which is Wednesday, how to make money from patterns all the ways. And on Thursday, Zazzle series part 3. Friday, special designs for a niche that you're probably going to want to design to. And that one is going to be a bit more of a traditional design with me video, with Saturday all about Zazzle part 4. And Monday after that, on the 30th, just a special for International Creativity Day. I will be answering all of your creative questions sent to me throughout the last few weeks, as well as submitted through the Google form. There is a link down below in the description to a Google form that you can go in and submit your questions about me, about Print on Demand, about printables, about life and karma, and whatever you want. And those little forms are anonymous, no email submission, no email collection. You can identify yourselves only if you want me to know who you are. And with that being said, and with me being extremely hungry, talking about recipes all this time, that was it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as usual, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!